All right, guys, this is Tara Devlin, and this is Devlin versus the News. Let's get into it. I want to talk about what's going on in D.C. Every day, living in this wannabe dictator's America, I'm reminded of that famous quote from Peruvian dictator General Oscar Benavides. It pretty much sums up authoritarianism and what we're living through right now. For my friends, everything. For my enemies, the law. You see, as we watch this emotionally stunted man-child unbox his toy soldiers again and set them up in D.C., this is to distract, another one of his distractions, to, I guess, take the attention off the fact that he shared wonderful secrets with a convicted pedophile for decades. It is clear that Trump is not the remedy to DC's fake crime wave. He's the perpetrator. Anyone with a functioning brain cell can see that this soon-to-be thrice impeached so-called president is the epicenter of criminality, corroding decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity to feed that rapacious black hole of need and greed that he calls a personality. There has never been a more corrupt so-called president than Trump. No one profits off the presidency like him and his underwhelming spawns. No one surrounds themselves completely with such an overt criminal enterprise, really. This so-called crime wave in D.C. is almost quaint when we consider the white-collar carnage unleashed daily by America's first convicted felon president and his pathetic cohort of co-conspirators. As someone who actually wore the uniform of this country, it's offensive watching him use the National Guard, use our fellow citizens serving their country as toys to be manipulated at his whim, like an undeserving brat who never did a thing for anybody but himself, much less the United States, which he fundamentally misunderstands and loathes, frankly. But here's the truth. D.C. is not some dystopian wasteland. In fact, the crime rate in D.C. is at a 30-year low. So this is all performative. Murders are down 11% than they were last year. Robberies are down 27%. And overall violent crime is down 25% this year so far. That's crime across every major category. Yet the maggot megaphone keeps pushing fear as a policy, fear and division. I mean, this is all about racism, too. For example, Tim Burchett, he pantomimes as one of the reasonable Republicans, but he's from Tennessee. Recently went on Fox News to say that he cowers in his D.C. office at night because it's too daggum dangerous to go out in D.C.
You don't want to go out on the streets at night in Washington, D.C. One of the reasons I live in my office at night, but the other reason is it's too dadgum dangerous, brother.
Well, crime in his own district in Tennessee is actually 682% higher than it is in the District of Columbia. We can't make this stuff up. It would be comical if it weren't so pathetic. Tennessee isn't an outlier either. These poorly run red states like Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama are consistently ranked as America's murder capitals for nearly a quarter of a century. So this has been going on a long time. The murder rates in red states are 33% higher than those in blue states. So let's all get this straight. This is every single year since the year 2000. And if you take away their biggest cities, too, let's give them that generosity. The red state murder gap still exists. These are the facts that you don't hear on fake Fox News. But here we are. Trump loyalists are spinning their horror stories about Democrat-run cities, right? While ignoring the blood-soaked realities in their poorly run red states. Law and order for thee, not for me, and especially not for he. Traitor Trump. That's the old authoritarian refrain that Trump embodies on every level, especially pardoning the insurrectionists and his own refusal to obey court orders. It exemplifies his contempt for the law, for the Constitution, and for the country that Republicans can only pretend to love. Meanwhile, let's get some stats on Trump's personal crime spree. Republicans don't get into government so-called service for altruism. They get into it to line their own pockets, to empower themselves, For my friends, everything. For my enemies, the law. 6 months into this latest pretend presidency, Trump's fortune has ballooned by nearly $3 billion. 6 months. That's it. That's thanks to this never-ending spigot of grift. The crypto coins that he and his trophy wife number 3 have, it's absolutely repugnant. The pay-to-play crypto exchanges, him meeting with these corrupt crypto billionaires in the Oval Office, and pardoning the criminals who give him money. It's disgusting. They even played the opening of that tacky golf course in Scotland on the official White House live stream. Could you imagine if any Democrat behaved like this? There's not even a pretense of putting country first. It's always been Trump first, last, and always. The biggest public safety crisis in D.C. isn't the diminishing number of robberies or assaults. It's Republicans. Their refusal to address the real criminality, which is the unrepentant, greed-centered baboon turning the government that so many actual patriots fought, bled, and died to create and entrust to us into a personal profit machine. We should all be offended as his working class supporters slide deeper into poverty and lower on the ladder. Also, cutting their lifelines. Red states are getting hit hard by the big ugly bill. Trump laughs all the way to the bank, dividing the country along every fissure of disunity, as Henry Wallace once said, because a divided country makes it easier for him to steal. That's it. Steal things and shove it into his gaping, unquenchable pit of greed. So please, Republicans, spare us all the divisive bullshit about the Biden crime family. If you really want the crime rate in the Capitol to fall, there's one thing that the members of the Party of Personal Responsibility can do, and that is take some responsibility and resign. Please, sir, please, do us a favor. F off into history's trash bin where all the lawless dictators wind up. Eventually. All right, guys. My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hanging out. Check out the Tara Show every Tuesday and Thursday right here on the Political Voices Network. And my show, Tara Buster, Friday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the Political Voices Substack and the Tara Buster YouTube channel. We will win. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. My name is Tara Devlin. I'll see you soon.